Ilana, long time no see. Can you hear me? Abby, can you hear me?
Hi, Carrie. I can't get this to send. What? I don't know how that works.
Great, fantastic. Larry will be here in a minute.
You're on a different spot. What's up? Hey. Trina's back. She'll be demoing for us. It's quiet. Is this like the calm before the storm? Waiting to kick it? Nice one piece.
I figured I'd wear it until now because I won't be able to put it on once I get surgery.
So there's these things for wetsuits. It's this hook that you put like here, and then it goes to the floor, and you step on it, and it'll pull down the side. I'll have to find the link for you.
Got my little onesie on.
Up here? Yep. Yeah, one of those middle rows, you could probably find another spot.
Or you can probably go right next to Natalie.
Yeah, underneath the camera. You won't be in front of it, but you could work there if you want, Anna.
Words out, Larry.
Well, now that it's not like 3 degrees, right? We can all go outside again.
It was like this at 3 degrees too.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Anything y'all want to do today? Any postures or body parts? Where? Where? Like hip flexors? Yep, okay. Chest, okay.
Can we do half moon?
Sure. Chest, half moon, and adductors. Hip flexors. Okay. Hip flexors are muscles that are going to do this. This is flexion in your hip. This one would be extension. This, hyperextension. This is beyond the range of the joint, right? That's why when you go this way, see my belly goes forward? Because there's nowhere in the joint to go, right? So it's going to force it into here. So we'll work on some of that. So muscles have like what's called an antagonistic muscle. That means something that's going to fight against it. So when flexion happens, right, the muscles back here are going to pull, right? And that way it doesn't go boing, right? There's like control to it. So that being said, you want to fire these muscles up. This lateral hamstring, glute are going to be extend down this way, right? So we're going to want to push into our heel. That's like a cue I give you all the time. Then the other cue is going to be sweep the inner heels out, right? Now you're getting the back body to kick on. That's like a simple way to think of it. In yoga, you'd hear like front body and back body, right? So you want to think, if we got to open this up, we got to engage this, right? I've said to y'all in the past, it's why I don't do a lot of hamstring stretches with y'all. Because when your hamstrings are intentioned, this happens. Hip flexors are dominating, right? So, and I've said to y'all, if this is your forward fold, if this is your forward fold, your hamstrings are not tight. It might feel good for you to stretch those muscles, but they're not overly tightened, right? It would look more like this. This, we're going to concentrate on stretching hamstrings, but if you can get down here, even to get to here, right? Your hamstrings got pretty good length to them. If they're not tensioned properly, what's going to happen? Those hip flexors, which are already dominant because of positions we're forced into, like sitting and things like that, they're already going to be ahead of the game. And we're trying to get what? Balance, right? So let's play. At the end, all right, we're going to do the sound bowls a little bit, okay, in the Shavasana. If it's a little too overstimulating for you, right, it's okay. When we get everybody in Shavasana and we start to set it up and you want to kind of just wrap up and start to move on, it's totally cool, right? Elizabeth or myself, no one's going to take offense to that. We want you to finish your class and we want you to feel good when you do it. We just want to do some things that are different, right? Sometimes I bring some different things in and try to like share some of these that we might do as like a workshop or something, right? And we just do a couple minutes in class to kind of give you a little bit of that flavor. So if you want to lay here and enjoy it, go for it. It'll be time for you to move on at the end. You're always going to be more than welcome, all right? So you know how we roll here. We want you to be comfortable. We want you to do your thing, right? So whatever that means, all right? With the exception of being an asshole, right? I think that goes without saying, right? But here, in this building, we tend to always go for our best self, right? Like I tell people all the time, you want to leave your wallet somewhere, downstairs is the best place. It will be right there where it was when you left, right? Like, because that's what we do, right? There's a good positive energy here. So let's play. Take a nice seat, close the eyes, sit up tall. Take a couple breaths. Lean back a little bit. Feel those sit bones start to root down to the mat. Feel the muscles up that are starting to that run up your spine starting to activate. Feel your head, your throat slide back. Shoulders come back just a little bit. We don't want to squeeze our shoulder blades to our midline, to our spine, but we don't want our chest to be concave either. We're just trying to find that neutral space. Take a couple more breaths. Start to tune into the breath a little deeper. So listening to yourself breathe, right, is already a refinement because we don't have to concentrate on our breath. It's going to happen subconsciously, right? So when we bring a little focus to it, we're going to be able to use it in a few different ways. Be able to engage, we're going to be able to open, we're going to support, we're going to release. From listening to yourself breathe, slow down the beginning of the inhale. So we tend to gasp that breath, like, so we want to slow it down a little bit. Just like on the exhale, we tend to let the breath taper off. It's like, we want it to be the same power from the beginning to the end. Maybe we count out the breath. If the inhale's 2 or 3 seconds, make the exhale the same 2 or 3 seconds. Find Ujjayi breath, where the air begins to rebound off the back of the throat. Feel the breath turn to movement. On the inhale, the arms are going to lift. And the exhale, bring the thumbs to touch, and the pinkies, and the pointer fingers, and the ring fingers, and the middle fingers. It's like the petals of the lotus closing. Now the breath goes to that space between our palms. Down our arms to our heart, from our heart back out in front of us. And one time together to initiate our practice. Together the sound of Om. All together, deep breath in. Beautiful. As we softly bow our head to our hearts, our heads to each other's hearts. Inhale, lift the head, open the eyes, release the hands. Okay, let's start out all fours, hands and knees. So hands an inch or two in front of your shoulders, knees an inch or two behind your hips. This is a pose. This is called low mountain, right? We are in a pose right now. So we're going to start setting it up. We're not like hanging out, right? I think this is easy to think, okay, well, what's he going to do next, right? We're setting it up. Now, from here, you're going to hug your hands into the midline, and you're going to feel energy start to engage the arms, the biceps here. You're going to feel them start to, like you could squeeze them a little bit. You're going to feel it come up into your shoulders, into your upper back, into your chest. Curl the toes. You're going to sweep the inner heels out because they want to fall in, right? So we're going to sweep the heels out a little bit. Then we're going to hug the shins in. We're going to pull our heels to our butts. Now we got power coming up our legs. It's going to root in our hips. Pull your belly button to your spine. I call these your shutters, right? See the shutters want to blow open? You got to close them. So you're going to engage the top of your abdominal wall here. Now slide your throat back like to the ceiling so your chin isn't hanging to the floor. Yeah. As the sit bones reach back, crown of the head reaches forward, start to expand side to side. Now with the space that we make, and we're talking microns of space, now work your cat-cow. Inhale, arch the back, lift the sit bones, reach through the crown of the head. Exhale, round the back. Look to your belly. Lengthen your sit bones towards your heels. Your inhale, arch. Your exhale, round. Now stay with your breath. Remember we counted out the 2 or 3 seconds. If it's 2 seconds to inhale, that's how long it's going to take us to arch our spine. If it's going to be 2 seconds to exhale to round. Or whatever your pace is. You're setting up that tempo, right, of your practice here. You want to get into your upper back a little more. You're going to look to your belly. You want to get into your lumbar, your low back a little bit. You'll go sit bones to the backs of the knees. Just like on the inhale, you're going to feel heads of the arm bones root nice and deep into the shoulder sockets. You're going to feel sit bones blossom. One more. And then come to a neutral position. So find that flat back. Take the knees back a couple inches. Reach the right leg straight back, ball the foot on the floor. So there's that extending back out of the hip, right? Now, whenever we straighten the leg, that common tendency is that the knee wants to hyperextend. So micro bend the knee a little bit. Yep. When you engage your quads, pull your kneecap to your waist rather than trying to push your kneecap to the ceiling, and it'll keep that hyperextension from happening. And now reach down the back of the leg and out of the bottom of the heel. Exhale, lower it down, take the left leg back. Ball the foot on the floor, heel straight up to the sky. It's going to try to most likely fall in. So you might have to sweep out a little bit. Then keep hugging in and pulling the power, and that's muscle energy. And then the organic is reach out of the heel, reach forward out of the crown of the head, side to side. Exhale, lower the left knee, walk the knees back in, all fours, tiger pose. Inhale, you're going to take the heel to the sky. Exhale, you're going to bring the knee to the chin or the chest. Let's do 5 on each side. So as you take the heel to the sky, in the hip, that's what? Flexion or extension? Extension, right? When the knee comes to the chin or the chest, what is it? Flexion. So we're moving from flexion to extension here, right? We're starting to move through the range of motion of these muscles. That's a good way to get a release. After your 5, lower the right knee down. Make sure your hips width apart. The misalignment is you're going to want to go to the midline. Don't let that happen. And then when you're ready, left heel to the sky. Now take your time. Work with your breath. We're all going to be pretty close here. We might be, a little different, second or two, but for the most part, we're going to be pretty close. As the knee comes through, let it just scrape the mat so we don't unwind the inside of the left hip. So you want to hug your pubic bone or like your junk into the inside of your right leg, instead of letting that left hip peel up to the sky. Then after your 5, lower that left knee down. We'll meet back in that low mountain, the all fours. Take the right hand behind your head. Inhale, take the elbow to the sky. Exhale, bring it across the body to the eye of that left elbow. We'll do 5. So now we're working the upper back. We're starting to open the chest. Right? So think as you take your right elbow to the sky, right, you're peeling away from that left arm. That's what we want. The action of the pec in that is into the midline, like your adduct into the center. So what are we doing here? We're moving away. Then after your 5, lower your right hand down, take a breath. Then left hand goes behind your head. The inhale takes the elbow to the sky, and the exhale takes it across the body. Now hold those hips in place, because twists happen above the waist, specifically in your thoracic spine, your middle upper back. So as your left elbow goes to the sky, drive your left knee down into the mat. Yeah, so it's opposing forces, right? That's in a twist, below your waist would turn to the right, your upper body would turn to the left. And then after your 5, we'll meet back in the all fours. What would happen if everything turned in the same direction? You'd go in a circle, right? That's not how when we walk, everything goes in and then everything goes out, right? We collect it and then we express it. Take a couple breaths here. Step back to plank. Shoulders are on top of the wrist crease, and you're reaching out of your heels. So if your feet are straight up and down right now, you're too long. If you're not sure what that is, if you look forward, right? If Trina's feet were straight up and down, they'd look like this. We don't want this right now. This is when we go to chaturanga. Here in plank, we want to be in dorsiflexion, so we're reaching our heels back. Now lift your hips, come into downward dog. There's going to be your distance that your downward dog would relate to your plank, right? So sometimes we go a little short in our downward dog or a little long. Here's a way for you to measure it so when we do our vinyasa, it all comes together. Because what happens if you have to do things twice? Well, you got to do them twice, but that means we've used twice the amount of energy. We want this shit to be as efficient as possible, right? Because none of this stuff we're doing is going to be easy. It's all going to be a challenge. So first downward dog, bend the knees a little bit here. Yep, soften up the dog. Now, as you hug your hands in, keep your forearms lifting up, keep your inner biceps lifting up so you feel your shoulders move out away from your neck. Pull your belly in, pull your shutters closed. Now, if you want to stay here, you're going to push your hands down and forward. Everybody's taking their chest back towards their toenails. But if you want to put the legs into it, you're going to engage those legs, so pull your heels to your butt, then start to reach down the hip and down the back of the leg like we did before. Next inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, back to downward dog. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, back to downward dog. Let's do 5. So what are we doing in the hip? From downward dog, we're in flexion. We're coming to plank, extension. And we're moving back and forth. Same thing in the arms, right? We're just moving the chest and the shoulders and the arms and the upper back a little more dynamic. Now on this next one, as you come forward to plank, let the exhale lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Take 3 nice breaths. Squeeze your shoulders back like you're squeezing a marshmallow between your shoulder blades. And then take your shoulders down away from your ears. One more breath.
Sorry, poor plant.
You're all right. How's that?
It's okay.
When you're ready, lower your chest, push up through plank, back to downward dog. Now, if it felt better to keep your knees bent, keep your knees bent. If it feels better to straighten your legs, straighten your legs. It's not a right or wrong. Taking your legs straight in downward dog is really extending the pose out. There's 2 main elements we're looking for here. It's arms overhead, and sit bones are reaching like where the ceiling and the wall meet at the back of the room. Then, if you straighten your legs, it's just wherever you want to take the pose. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Take 3 nice breaths. Keep dragging your hands back to you so you're pulling your belly forward. You're making space. Then the shoulders can go back and down, back of the heart through the front of the chest. When you're ready, back to chaturanga or lower your chest. Push up through plank, back to downward dog. Reach the right leg straight back, step it through, lunge. So high in your fingertips are your blocks. Find that neutral space. We're just looking for neutral spine, right? What's the negative energy? This, right? Phone back. We're trying to get to here, Tadasana. Not here, back bend, right? Not here, just neutral. Keep pushing down into your feet. Hug your front heel back and your back toes forward. So you're pulling in. Keep your shins hugging in. Yep. Pull your pelvic floor up. Belly, right? Shudders, heart, throat, gaze like you're looking out in front of your mat, reach out of the crown of the head. Exhale, lower the back knee. Inhale the arms in front, plug them in. Take them up overhead. When you pull your belly in and your shutters close, especially your shutters, you're going to get this lift in your spine. Now maybe curl back into it a little bit. Yep. And as you curl back, let the back of your heart lift up through the front of your chest. That's how we're opening a little bit more here in the chest. One more breath. Exhale the hands down, shift the hips back, come to baby Hanuman. So in baby Hanuman or runner's stretch, we're really concentrating on the front leg a little bit more. Some of you are going to feel a little more comfortable moving your back knee back a little bit more. You can. It might feel better to get up like on the top of the knee instead of the kneecap. If you need to pad your knee, you can roll your mat over, right, like this, and that'll give you a little bit of padding, or your blanket, whatever it is that you want to use. Now keep pushing your front heel down and pulling it back to you. It'll make your knee micro bend. Keep hugging your big toe mound into the midline so your toes and your kneecap are pointing straight up to the sky. Now look forward, climb your spine out of your waist, and then maybe fold down the inside of that right thigh. Yep, one more breath. And then inhale as you look forward, bend into that lead knee. Place the hands down. Yep, lift the back knee, downward dog. Take your time, move slowly. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Exhale, lower back to chaturanga or lower your chest. Push up through plank. Back to downward dog. Reach the left leg straight back. Step it through. Lunge. Now make sure your hips width apart. We don't want to be any narrower. We don't want to be any wider. We just want to find that neutral space. If you feel comfortable lifting that right leg up, the top of that thigh, then you're going to reach your heel back. If you feel like that thigh wants to keep falling on you, you're going to stay high in the ball of your foot. That'll just give you a little more space, make it a little more controllable. Keep hugging that right hip forward. Yep. Work those chakras from root all the way up the crown. And then exhale, lower the back knee. Inhale the arms in front. Plug them in if you need to. Take them up overhead. Belly and shutters, especially shutters, is going to lift the spine. Now maybe you curl back into that pose. Play where what feels good for you. Coming up the belly, up the chest, the neck, up your arms, your fingertips. Yep. One more breath. Now control it as you exhale the hands down. When you're ready, shift the hips back. It's sometimes tough to get like hip flexors and quads and hamstrings because when you bend your knee and we stretch these out, then these hamstrings want to cramp. So I'm going to try to get the hamstrings first. So then as we get a little bit later, we can get a little deeper into some of these hip flexor openers and these quad openers. Now keep pushing, right? See if my foot's like this and my knee wants to hyperextend. If I push my heel down, see how it makes my knee bend. That'll keep it from hyperextending. And I pull it back to me and I hug the big toe mount in and then I look forward and I climb that spine and then maybe I fold to the inside of that left thigh. And then inhale, look forward, bend into that lead knee, lift the back knee, downward dog, move through one vinyasa, your breath. Look forward, bend your knees, step or jump between your hands, swing your arms up, take a nice big reach. Pull your belly in and bring your sit bones down. Reach up out of your thumbs. Yep, now maybe curl a little bit. Feel that peel again coming up that front body. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands behind your back. Before you pull your shoulders back, fill the ribs up with breath. Now take the shoulders back. So we get that nice peel off the sternum, your breastplate, through the pecs and the front of the shoulders, and we don't just manipulate our ribs, right? This is too narrow. I want to be out here when I stretch. Yep. Exhale, release. Sit back as the knees bend, swing the arms up, big reach. Maybe curl back that little bit. Inhale, come up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward, half fold, Uttanasana A. Balance the weight in your feet, heel to the ball of the foot. Inner and outer edge. For almost all of us, we're going to lift the inner arches up. We're going to bring a little weight to the outer edge of the foot. Pull that energy up your legs. So how did we do it before? We were sweeping our heels out. We were hugging our shins in. We're pulling our kneecaps to our waist. We're pulling our heels to our butts. A lot of shit, right? Then you're looking forward. Now work the spine. Yep, now fold into the pose. Yeah, you could do that again. Next inhale, look forward. Charge the legs, climb the spine, and exhale, fold. Yep. If you want to stay more static, stay more static. I tend to like to be dynamic. I work with each breath. I look forward and I exhale, fold. That's what feels good in my body. It's what takes my practice where I need it. But what do you need to bring into it? And you can do both, right? It's not like, oh, you chose hold static, right? You got to stay there. No, you can move into the dynamic a little more. One more breath. And bend the knees, place the hands, step the right leg back, lunge. So reach out of your heel. That's extending the hip. Right arm stays down, left elbow draws back for the twist. Power in those legs. Keep lifting that right thigh up, but soften that left one down. Try to get the thigh parallel with the floor. Then reach forward and get tall, and then maybe open the chest to the sky. Inhale, come back to center. Now push from your right foot to your left heel as you step forward. You're going to get the left hip to extend. Yep. Keep the knees bent. Reach the left leg back. Yes. Find the lunge. The left hand stays down. The right elbow draws back. Maybe we reach up. Play with the balance even more. Maybe we look up. Yeah. Reach out of the back heel. Forward out of the front knee. Forward out of the crown of the head. Even side to side. Inhale, come back to center. Step forward. Swing the arms up. Big reach. Sit back, Utkatasana chair pose. Butts go back. Belly's in. Sit bones are down just gently. Right? Like, that's too much. But that's not enough. Find where that sweet spot is. Sit back deeper. Hug the beach ball between your forearms. Yep, sit back deeper. Charge your legs. Core. Lift the arms. Sit back deeper. Nice, y'all. Push down, rise up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, place the hands, step or jump back, downward dog. Move through 3 vinyasas. So we're going to flow a little bit here through the vinyasa. This is where it's going to be important to have it measured up. Right? So as we link things together, it's going to be efficient and optimal. But remember, if you have to move something, we move it. But if we don't have to, we're going to try to hold on to that. We'll meet back in downward dog. Nice, y'all. Nice pace. You always hear me say it kind of feels like slow motion, but it's not. It's just you working with your breath. Reach the right leg straight back. Step it through. Lunge. Fire the lunge. Inhale, come up, Virabhadrasana 1 crescent. Bend into the lead knee so it stacks up on top of the ankle. Square the left hip forward. Back to root chakra, pull it up. When you hit the shutters and you get that lift through the spine, now let the right hand grab that left wrist. We're going to bend towards the brick wall. That's how we get into the psoas a little more. But the trick to get into the psoas is keeping the shutters closed. So keep pulling into those shutters. Yep. Keep the power in the legs. Maybe take a big inhale on the left side of your ribs to where the ceiling and the wall meet at the left side of the room, and then peel over even a little bit deeper. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, the hands down. Step back, downward dog. Breath. Reach the left leg straight back. Step it through. Lunge. Fire the lunge. Take your time. When you're ready, inhale comes up, Virabhadrasana 1 crescent. Keep the back heel sweeping out. It's going to help draw that right hip forward. Work up, get to the shutters, and you feel the lift in the spine. Let the left hand grab that right wrist. Take that side bend towards the left or the wall with the window and the door. But stay with the shutters. Take the head and the throat back. Take the arms back a little bit more. Yes. Now, big inhale on the right side of the ribs, and then exhale, peel a little bit deeper. Yes. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, the hands down. Step. Downward dog. Keep pushing your hands down and forward. Take your chest back towards your toenails. There's that big opener. Keep working and I forget about you. Yeah. Exhale, lower your knees, sit back on your heels, take a little break. Nice, y'all. Child's pose, if you want to hit child's pose, feel free. Full breath in, complete breath out. Right? Go back to the breath. What do you want? Go for it. Just not all the way up, because it'll be like tornado speed. There's only one way to find out. It is, but you might as well just click the other ones. What's the worst going to happen? A light's going to kick on. And yeah. That was my one little theme this week, wasn't it? I think that was like Thursday I was talking about, like, sometimes you just got to try it. You just got to try some shit. I think I said to y'all, like, knowing most of your practices, go to an advanced class one time. What's the worst that's going to happen? You got to lower your back knee. You're going to use your blocks. Right? You're going to do your practice. Sometimes you got to like push that edge. You got to find what's happening here. Yeah, it's like this sweet spot where the hands are moving and then they're going to be like full on blowing us all off the floor. It's pretty decent. All right, inhale, come up. Exhale, hands down, all fours. Turn the hands out. I'll tell you what I learned of all these years teaching. Don't really ask a lot of questions. Just do it, right? Because it's going to be 50-50. Half the people are going to be like, no fan, and the other people are going to be like, fan. Just move on with it, right? So here we're getting stretch through the forearm. This is the front arm line. In your fascial lines, these all come together. Forearm, bicep, pec. So we're trying to open that line up a little bit. Chest was one of our spots. Inhale, unwind, sit back on your heels, give those wrists a little spin. And then inhale, come up, exhale, hands down, all fours. Take a breath. When you're ready, step back to plank. And then back to downward dog. Work through one vinyasa. From downward dog, reach the right leg straight back, step it through, lunge, spin the back heel, come up Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. So now we want to be on the balance beam, which means your front heel is in line with your back arch. Front toes facing straight ahead like 12 o'clock. Back toes are turned forward a little bit. So think 9 would be out to the side. You're just kind of past 9. Get nice and tall here through the side bodies. Yep. Bring your gaze right over the middle finger. You always hear me say there's no chill in this pose. It's full on. Yep. Take the palm up, slide back into that reverse warrior. There's that side body again. Maybe take that big inhale to where the ceiling and the wall meet at the front of the room. And then exhale, peel back on it. Yep. Inhale, come back up, Warrior 2. Take the hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, bow to the inside of that right thigh. Humble warrior. Look to the front left corner of your mat so your spine stays long. Now maybe like try to pull your hands apart isometrically so to shoot a bunch of energy, so without movement. Now try to reach the arms up overhead. Yeah, deep in the stretch. Exhale the hands down to the floor. Spin the back heel up, downward dog. Move through one vinyasa. Reach the left leg straight back. Step it through, lunge, spin the back side two. Make sure there's that little micro bend in the knee. The way to combat that here is pull your kneecap up to your waist instead of pushing your kneecap towards the wall with the window and the door. Now get nice and tall here. Feel the side body's lengthen, so from hips to armpit. Yep. And then as that gaze comes over the middle finger, go back to your breath and soften your face. Yeah, and be right here in the moment. Feel the muscles starting to quiver a little bit? We want that. That's time under tension. That's how we're getting stronger. Then the palm comes up. Remember the 2 seconds? That's how long it takes to slide back. Well, whatever your breath is. Yep. Because it's easy to just dump back into that hip, right? We don't want that. There's no control. Here, we're controlling everything. Now take the big inhale on the left side of the ribs to the front where the ceiling and the wall meet, and then peel back on it. Yep. And then let that inhale come back up 2 or 3 seconds to that warrior two. Let the hands go behind the back. This is where the slow motion kicks in, right? It's just staying with your breath. If your left pinky was under, give right pinky a turn, and then bow to the inside of your left thigh. Look to that front right corner of your mat. Then as you pull the hands apart isometrically without movement, you get the energy to run up the arms. Now you can stretch them a little bit deeper because we want to engage muscles before we stretch them. So that's how you're engaging them. Yep, one more breath. Nice, y'all. Exhale the hands down to the floor. Spin the back heel up. Downward dog. Move through one vinyasa. It's like a little maze game in here today. Look forward, bend your knees, step or jump between your hands, swing your arms up, take a big reach. Curl back a little bit. Feel that nice peel. See if you go a little deeper into that back bend, that standing back bend. Back bend's 90% legs, 10% back bend. So keep the foundation strong. Yep, keep going up and back instead of back and down. One more breath. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands in front, thumbs come to heart center, like the middle of your chest. Use your thumbs to flick your heart out, and then just close your eyes. Take a couple breaths. Full breath in, complete breath out. Mountain pose throughout the rest of your body. So full on, hugging muscle to bone. And then that's the power, right? The freedom is closing your eyes, turning back to the breath, settling into the moment. And then gently open your eyes, release your hands. Tree pose. So you're going to bend, you're going to set the toes, spread the toes and set the foot on the left side. Right foot is the leg's going to come up. You're going to open the hip and you're going to bring your toes down either low on your leg or high in the inside of your thigh. One's not better than the other, so wherever you want to play. Now as I push my foot into my thigh, I got to push my thigh back into my foot. So both sides are hugging in. Don't worry about where your knee is right now. Take your left hip back, even if your knee comes forward. We're going to open that up in a couple more breaths. Your hands, push them together because you're going to get that energy to run through the upper trunk. It's going to make the balance a little easier. Lean back so your left heel is heavy. You can move your toes if you wanted to, but not the ball of your foot, just your toes. Yep. Now, get tall, so breathe up out of your waist. Now go sit bone to heel. So right sit bone to right heel. Or see how I sweep my heel forward and my knees peeling out. Here's the opener. And then we play with it. Take the arms up. Now, stay here if it feels good. If you want to go, look to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Look up to one of the girders. Look up to the ceiling. Maybe close your eyes. Open your eyes. Exhale, release. What do you do if you fall over or you lose it? You just do what I did. You chuckle and you move on, right? Let's try side 2. Either here or here. If you're in the middle, right, where you're starting to work the leg up, you just don't want to push on the inside of your knee, right? Knees don't work good side to side. They work awesome front and back, right, but terrible this way. So just if you are in that situation, push the heel more into like the low part of your thigh there. Keep that knee joint nice and safe. Then take the right hip back. Yep, keep pushing in. Keep hugging in. So even though I want to open this, I'm hugging this way at first to get all this to kick on. Then I can start to open the knee by going sit bone to heel or sweeping the heel, right? Then maybe I take the arms up. Lean back, keep that heel heavy. Yep. Then we start to look up where the ceiling and the wall meet. Further, then the ceiling, then maybe close your eyes. Open your eyes. Exhale, release. I live on one leg. Like most of the stuff I do is all about one leg, but that's how the moment is. Like I tell you all the time, you could be a little congested and your balance is going to be off, right? Like simple things like that. So you just play with it. All right, set your feet. Sit back as the knees bend, swing the arms up, take a big reach. That little curl back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. Keep the power in those legs. Keep lengthening through the spine. Maybe look forward. Maybe fold a little deeper. See if maybe you can lower the block. See if you get to your fingertips. See if you get your palms to go flat. See if you get the back of your hands to go flat, right? It never ends, right? It's always going to keep moving and moving and moving. That's why you don't get upset in your practice, right? You leave the anxiety and all that shit somewhere else. Because here, the success is just practicing. Sit back as the knees bend, swing the arms up, take a nice big reach. Exhale, hands in front. Okay, so we're going to go triangle in Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. So keep your block handy. If you're not sure what that is, right, I'm going to work from triangle, right? And we're going to come here. And this would be my half moon. So see right away what wants to happen. The weight wants to go forward and the heel wants to get light. As soon as your heel gets light, you lose glute med and piriformis, which are your pelvic stabilizers. So you got to keep the heel heavy, right? That's going to keep, pelvic stabilizer sounds like something you need when you're about to go into external rotation and stand on one leg, right? And then reach your arm up and then look up. That's a lot of shit, right? So you got to make sure you're nice and solid. So that's where we'll be. The distance from your block out in front of you is the length of your hip to your armpit, right? Because I'm just doing this, but I'm hinged at the hip. So that's where your block will be. The other thing here is we're trying to release some of these hip flexors. The common tendency is that your heel is going to reach back. Is this thigh forward or thigh back? Forward. What's back? That's back. This is back. This is forward, right? Rigid, soft. That's where we want it. So take your hands like this, right? And go to like hips forward, which is everything we don't want, right? Feel this? It's solid. Now go butt back a little bit. Feel how it's soft? That's thighs back. That's where we're going to want to be. Easier said than done? Shit, yeah. But that's the game, right? Come on, let's give it a try. Right leg forward, left leg back, triangle. Trikonasana. Now, in triangle, we tend to go too short. So we just did warrior 2. Bend into your lead knee so that you get your warrior stance set up. Now straighten your leg and you'll get that triangle length. It's a little easier to measure it from there. Yep. Now get nice and tall here so you're peeling up out of your waist. We're getting those side bodies long. Yep. When you're ready, hinge at the right side of the hip. Bring the hand down to the block or the floor. Inside or outside the foot. To keep that hip from popping like that, keep ripping your feet to the center. So you're pulling your front heel back and your back arch forward. We've been working on that for a little while. Now, feel how side crescent is trying to dominate on the right side? We don't want that. We want to try to get that right side to open up. So squeeze the left side and feel the length start to happen from hip to armpit on the right side. You want to play with the balance? Maybe start to look up. Yes. One more breath. Now exhale the left hand to your hip. Bend your front knee. You could either half step in or kick up. Or you can drag the foot as you come into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon, to give a little more support and a little more like hug in. Keep the right sit bone lengthening to the right heel. That's how you're going to open up. So like your junk and your chest are facing the wall with the window and the door. Maybe take the left arm up. Now kick those left toes forward so you feel the top of that thigh. Yes, root back. One more breath. Now scissor your legs together, float back, standing triangle. Yep, take the breath. When you're ready, step that back foot forward. We'll meet. How'd that go? Pretty good? Yeah, sounded good. If it didn't sound good, you hear like, right? Sounded great. All right, let's go left leg forward, right leg back. Triangle side two. Yep, get that distance. It's so easy to go short here in triangle. Set it up. Get nice and tall. Then when you're, because we got to clear the waist, right? Where are we going to go if we don't clear this? If we're crammed into it, there's no place to go. So then when you're tall, hinge at the left side of the hip, bring the hand down to the block or the floor. Inside the foot tends to be a little more therapeutic, a little more accessible. Behind the foot tends to be a little more challenging, right? Notice I didn't use the word easy because none of this shit is easy. You're just trying to find wherever your edge is going to be. Now this time we got to open left side body, so we're going to squeeze right side body. Yep, feel the length happening from the hip to the armpit on that left side. Now pull your belly in, pull your shutters closed. Now take the top of the ribs back, bring the bottom of the ribs forward. You start to rotate open. Yep, maybe look up. Exhale the hand to the hip, bend the left knee. When you're ready, kick up into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon side two. Keep the left heel heavy by reaching your right heel back to the wall behind you. Kick the toes forward a little bit, so if you look down your leg, you can see your toes. That's the thigh back. Yes. Spread your fingers. Maybe look up. Nice, y'all. Now squeeze your inner thighs as you float back to that standing triangle. Take the breath. Then push from the back foot to the front heel as you step forward. Let the hands meet. Anjali Mudra. Awesome, y'all. Beautiful. Sit back as the knees bend, swing the arms up, big reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. Stay with your breath, not my voice. Bend the knees, place the hands, step or jump back, downward dog, move through one vinyasa. I always try to stay ahead of you, right? Just a little bit. From downward dog, roll to the outside of the right foot, stack the left foot on top or in front, come into side plank. Turn the bicep forward. That's going to root into the upper back. Push out of the big toe mounds like you're pushing on a gas pedal. It's going to charge up the legs. You Sthasana, you're going to to your chest. Take your two fingers between your big toe and your second toe. Kick your leg out towards the wall with the window and the door, then take it up to the sky or hold your knee like this. Release the leg if it's there. Inhale, come back to center. Push back, downward dog. Take a breath. Roll to the outside of the left foot, stack the right foot on top or in front. You always hear me say, like, this moment is hard, right? Let it be hard. Think about what you're doing. Put it in context here. You're on one arm, right? On your side. You're on the side of your foot. You're looking up. Then you're going to try to move the pose even further, right? It's meant to be challenging. Maybe the right knee hugs to the chest. The two fingers go between the toes. Kick to the brick wall first, then take the leg up towards the sky or hold the knee. Release the leg. Inhale, come back to plank. Push back, downward dog. Next inhale, come forward to plank. Trina, where are we at? 9? Yeah. Yep. Shoulders on top of your wrist crease. Knees count. Belly's in. Shutters closed. Keep reaching out of your heels. Keep your hips up. I see some hips sagging. Keep those hips lifting up. Keep your belly buttons in and your shutters closed. Reach back out of your heels. Reach forward out of the crown of your head. Keep breathing side to side. Maybe lift that right heel up to the sky. Yeah. Take the breath. Lower it down. Reach the left heel up. Slow. Remember the 2-second thing? Yeah, it's a little more challenging. Exhale, lower it. Keep breathing. Keep pushing down. Keep hugging in. Keep those hips up. Lift your hips up a little bit, man. Keep going. You okay with the touch? Get all this up. Yeah.
That's a minute.
And to your belly.
I gotcha.
I got you. I got you. Hands underneath your head. Turn your head to one side. Listen, y'all, you know I never shy away from telling y'all what my focus is or my goal for y'all, right? To make you stronger, to make you more integrated, right? To open things, to make you work and your body to move more efficiently. And that is not about hanging out, right? It's about doing the work. Inhale the head back to center, swap the hands. Your asana, right? Us moving our bodies is exercise, right? And that's what we're doing. Except yoga's fun in a different way, right? Makes it exciting, gives us those challenges all the time. That's the game. All right, inhale, come back to center. Take your left hand underneath your chest. Bend your right knee, reach back, grab your ankle, your foot, or your strap. Now, before you pull your heel to your butt, bring your belly button to your spine and push your pubic bone or your junk into the yoga mat. So we go neutral pelvis. Remember, this wants to happen. We're going to go this way. This would be too much. Like this isn't enough, right? We got to get to that neutral space. Now draw the heel to the sit bone to take the quad stretch a little bit deeper. What's challenging is as you stretch the quad, this one here, the middle one, is the one that's going to do hip flexion and knee extension. So this one's working hard, but it's going to pull the front of the pelvis forward as you start to stretch it. That's why you want to neutralize first. Now watch the boing as you release and then swap the hands. Before you pull it, just grab the ankle or the foot, then neutralize the pelvis, so belly to spine, sit bones down. And then when you're ready, draw the heel towards the sit bone a little bit more. You might, as you feel it open up the front of the thigh a little bit, you might have to do that again. Belly to spine, pubic bone to the mat, or that'd be the front of your pelvis. The back of your pelvis would be like sit bones to the backs of your knees. Couple more breaths. And then watch the boing as you release. All right, place the hands middle of your chest, like nipple line. Take the shoulders back. Curl your toes. Charge your legs up. Fire up the core. When you're ready, push up the chaturanga and take a full round of breath. Then push up the plank, take a full round of breath. Then push back to downward dog. Take a few breaths. Work through one vinyasa. Rev up the engine again. Get everything moving. Nice pace, y'all. Beautiful. Reach the right leg straight back. Step it through. Lunge. Exhale, lower the back knee. We're going to go lizard into twisted monkey. Okay, so really get into these hip flexors a little bit deeper now. So in lizard, you want to lower the back knee, then walk your right foot out towards the right edge of your mat. You could even turn your toes open, which will make it a little more accessible. The little trick I show you all the time, because this is asymmetrical, but you don't want to dump into the front of the thigh like this. You want to pull the knee forward and take, remember the crease? What happens if you do this? No crease. So what way did I have to go? This way. So I want to pull my knee forward and I want to reach my sit bone back behind me. Yep. Now lower your right elbow down first. It'll help hold this left hip up from collapsing on you. Yep. If you can bring both elbows down at the same time, awesome. If you need that little bit of refinement to help bring it down a little more neutral, right, it's still awesome. It doesn't matter. It's you bringing out the best in your pose. Now, we're getting that opener here, but it can get a little fire if we want. Lift the back knee up. Reach the heel back, and there it is. Now, we got to open up this front hip crease, because this is in like super deep flexion, right? But we still need organic expansion there. So what you do is you pull your right heel back to you, and you reach your right knee forward. And that's how you make that little bit of space in that front right hip crease. One more breath. If the knee's up, exhale, lower it down. Bend your left knee, reach back with your right hand, grab your ankle, your foot, or your strap. Walk your hand forward so your thumb is across from your big toe. That's going to make your left side body long. Spin your left shoulder back. This is what I usually see. The shoulder like this. You got to. Yep. The twist is first. Then the heel to the sit bone is last. Now notice, are you dumping in, is all the weight dumping into the front of that left thigh? It wants to, but that's not the pose, right? The pose is dragging that left knee forward and keeping the sit bone on that left side, the sit bone on that left side reaching back to the wall behind you. So the front of the thigh roots back. Open the chest, one more breath as you pull the heel towards the sit bone. And then release the leg, inhale, come back to center, wiggle the foot back in, lift the back knee, downward dog. Pedal, wiggle, swivel a little bit. Feel the difference side to side. There's a huge difference. Come to neutral. Reach the left leg straight back. Step it through. Lunge. Lower the back knee. Take your left foot out towards the left edge of your mat. You can turn the toes open that little bit. Then on this one, we're going to lower that left elbow down. See, if I lower my left one, I can hold this up. If I bring my right one down, see how my hip wants to dump down into itself? So if that happens, I have to build it back up, right? Which means I got to do it twice. I want to try to do things as y'all know, like I try to make a dollar out of 15 cents in any exercise that I'm about to get into, right? You do not want to waste anything when you're working your movements. So try to hang on to it. Then if you're going to fire it up even more, you're going to lift that right knee up. You're going to go even further. You're going to reach the heel back. Yep. Keep reaching the crown of the head forward, so look out in front of your mat. That changes the pose. Then drag that left heel towards you so you could reach the left knee forward. That's organic expansion in that left hip, even though it's in a simple cue would be it's closed, right? The hip crease is closed, but we still got to find some kind of opening there. If the knee's up, lower it down. Just come up a little bit, like halfway. Bend that right knee. If you need to, you shift back like this. Then you can shift yourself back forward. That's how we'll keep that hamstring from trying to over-engage on us. Muscles don't cramp when they're long. They cramp when they're short. So when you pull your heel to your butt, that's your hamstring shortening. That's why they try to cramp on you. Now notice if you're dumping into the front of that right thigh, the way to balance that is drag your back knee forward. Pull your belly button in towards your spine. Pull the shutters closed. Let the spine get long. Open the left side of the chest. Keep that right shoulder rooting back. Then start drawing that right heel towards the right sit bone. Intensify that quad stretch a little bit. But that work in the front of that thigh on the right side is like it. That's probably the main component of this pose. Keeping the top of that thigh from falling forward. Couple more breaths. Then control it as you release. Inhale, come back to center, place the hands, lift that back knee, downward dog, and just pedal, swivel, wiggle a little bit, kind of feel where you're at. Come to neutral. Take the feet wide, walk the hands back, come to Malasana squat pose. Get your heels to go flat. If they don't want to go flat, roll the blanket up or the mat so that they'll lift your heels up a little bit. Let your knees track your toes. Drive your elbows down into your knees so you can sit up a little bit taller here. Yep. Now, hug in first, then push your elbows away to stretch through the groins and the insides of the thighs. Now, you can stay here. If you want to go to crow, you're going to lift your hips. You're going to place your hands down. I'm going to walk my feet to the midline. My knees are on the backs of my arms. As I look forward, I'm going to start bringing the weight forward, and my feet are going to get light. When my feet get light, I'm going to pull my heels to my butt. Now, you can stay here in crow. We worked flexion and extension in the hip. So you're going to shift over to the left side a little bit. You're going to release the right leg, take it back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Bring it back in. Shift over to the right side of your side too. Kick the heel to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Bring it back in. Lower down. Yeah. Nice. There's a lot, right? That's just what the game is sometimes, right? It's a lot. And when you're ready, let's meet back all fours, hands and knees. And then when you're ready, back to plank, and then back to downward dog. Work through one vinyasa. Yeah, beautiful pace, y'all. See how it just starts to settle? It's not any easier, right? It's just starting to get familiar with it. From downward dog, reach the right leg straight back, step it through, pigeon. So our right knee, we're going to take to the right edge of our mat. If it's too much here, pigeon, and you want to do supine pigeon on your back, you're always welcome to. Okay, it's where you lay on your back here, right? You could be there if you want. That feels better. If you're in the pigeon here, make sure, and you're lifted up, take the right knee nice and wide. Let the left knee be in line with your left hip. If your toes are curled, get a little more power. If your toenails are flat, you're looking for a little more extension. Now, we've been talking about this all class. You got to push down into your knees, and you got to pull your front knee back and your back knee forward. Yep. Pull the pelvic floor up. The belly and the shutters are going to, when the shutters close, the spine's going to lift. That's if you want to fold into the pose, that's the time to go into the fold. If you're going to stay up in the prep, stay up in the prep. Bring this more. This way. Yeah. Keep this down. Spin, curl that. Yep. And go right there. Yep. Yeah. Feel how this comes neutral here? Does it feel a little better? Yeah. So we're just talking here about keeping the hips square. You don't want to collapse to one side. You want to keep, so if you're collapsing to the right, you got to push your right knee down and pull it back to you. If you're collapsing to the left, you got to push your left knee down and pull it into you. You always hear me say this pose is super fiery. You know, I used to think it was the hangout pose at the 3/4 mark, right? You get to lay on the floor and chill out. It's not. It's so much muscle energy. There's so much hugging in here. Then the opener is the front of the left thigh, the back of that right hip and down the back of that right leg. One more breath. And then inhale, come up, place the hands. When you're ready, lift the hips, unwind that right leg, take it back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Come forward, right knee to left elbow, back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Come forward, right knee to left elbow, back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. This time, kick the leg out to the side. See if you can hold it up off the floor. Yeah, keep it up. Unwind the leg, reach it back to where the ceiling and the wall meet, and then exhale, lower it down. Nice, y'all. Reach the left leg straight back, step it through, pigeon side two. We've been working a little bit of adductor work of holding those legs up, right, in a couple poses over the past few weeks. So this time, take that left knee nice and wide. And then that right knee will be in line with your left. So your left hip you can see, your left knee, right? Your right one you can't see. So you might have to peek over your shoulder to find where that's at. Push down. When you're ready, start hugging in. If you want to go for the fold, it's belly and shudders. And when the spine gets tall, then we fold into the pose. Sweep the heel in this way. Yes. Can you lift that left hip up? Yeah. Like you're bringing yourself to the right. Yeah. Feel that kind of come across your back a little more neutral. Mm-hmm. See, what happens if the hip drops, we start to stress the spine a little bit, that lumbar. And we don't want to do that. It's never a trade-off to like try to open your hip up to take your spine out of alignment. Right? Our spine is one of the main things that we concentrate keeping alignment with in all of our poses. So you want to feel that that's holding the neutral space. Don't collapse this. Yep. Nice, y'all. All right, when you're ready, inhale, come up. Place the hands. Lift the hips, unwind that left leg. Reach it back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. When you're ready, come forward for the twist, so to the right elbow, back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Come forward across the body, back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Maybe kick the leg out to the side this time. Take the breath as you hold the leg. And then when you're ready, unwind it. Take it back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Lower it down. Exhale, lower your knees. Spin around to a seated position. And then lay on your backs. Face this way. If it makes you feel good to face that way, I'm not going to run up and say anything, right? Whatever makes you feel good. But yeah, this way is where I'm going to stand up here. Yeah. Heads that you're looking this way. Yeah. Didn't I tell you the 50-50 thing, right? Half of you are like, yeah, we'll face that way. Other half are like, no, we'll face this way. All right, bend your knees, feet on the floor. We're going to work our bridge and our wheels. Okay, so we're going to hit our back bends. So if you want to do a bridge, if supported bridge, always on tap, right? If you want to go supported bridge, you're always welcome to. I'm going to first talk you into bridge, the second one wheel, but you can play 2 bridges, 2 wheels, supported bridge the whole time, whatever feels good. Start with your knees bent and your feet on the floor. Neutral pelvis means the sacrum right here is flat. Head and shoulders are back. You could robot your arms if you want a little support. When you're ready, charge the legs, the core, slowly lift the hips. Take the shoulders under a little bit. We had our hands class. We made that shape. If that feels good for you today, you can interlace the hands behind your back. You want to keep them neutral wherever you're at. Now, keep the power in the legs, but you hear me tell you every time I do back bends with y'all, y'all are strong. Be careful you don't over-engage the glutes and bring the tops of the thighs forward. You still got to keep that little crease at the front hip. That's probably one of the more challenging concepts of a back bend. Take the shoulders under a little deeper. Now, as you push your feet down and forward gently, you're going to take that back bend under your shoulder blades. That's right where we want the back bend to be. One more breath. If the fingers are interlaced, release them. As you lower down, see if you get your sacrum to land flat as you lower. So you lower with neutral pelvis. Then take the feet wide, let the knees touch. One hand on your heart, one hand on your low belly. All right, this time I'm going to talk you into wheel. But if you want to play with bridge, I'm going to start there, and then I'll move you on to wheel, play wherever feels good. All right, inhale, open the knees, reset the feet. Bring the arms along the sides, robot or whatever feels good to you. Start to charge the legs. Start to bring it through the upper trunk. When you're ready, slowly lift the hips. If you're going to interlace the hands behind the back, remember if left pinky went this last time, right pinky gets a turn. If you're going to go wheel, place your hands wide to the edges of your mat and turn your hands out. When you turn your hands out, you're going to see your elbows come in line with the outside of your shoulders. Now plug your shoulders back, push down to come up. Yes. Maybe pump your heart towards the wall that you're looking at. You'll feel the shoulders slide back a little bit more. When you place your hands, they're turning in a little bit. Try to go this way a little more. When you're ready, slowly lower down. You know, like when you're like, they want to do this. See my elbows peel out. When I do this, see my elbows come in, which means then I can do that. Next time I see you, we'll do it again too. From, if your right hand was on your heart, left hand on your heart, and then you can windshield wiper the knees side to side. Come to neutral. Hug your knee, right knee in, left leg out. Roll towards your left hip. Keep the right shoulder down. So the right hip is in what? Flexion or extension? Flexion. What's the left one in? Extension. Yep. Pull the belly in. Pull the shutters closed. Yep. That way we rotate through the spine. We don't let any of that manipulation through the ribs happen. Inhale, come back to center. Hug your left knee in, take your right leg out. Roll towards that right hip as the left shoulder stays rooted. If the left shoulder peels up, you're going to inhale, breathe up out of your waist, and you're going to rotate that shoulder back into the mat. Nice twist through those obliques, through those spinal erectors. Those are the muscles that initiate your twists. And then inhale, come back to center. Hug those knees into your chest. Give yourself a little hug or make a couple small circles, whatever feels good. I'm going to bring them the happy baby and then we'll go into Shavasana. Yeah, come on up. No problem, I'll go over it. That damn plant. Come to neutral when you balance both sides out. Then from here, take the knees wide, come to happy baby, Ananda Balasana. So keep the knees wide, wider than your shoulders. If it feels too much to hold your toes, let go of your toes and hold the outsides of your shins or your knees. That'll let you take those knees nice and wide. Then when you draw the knees towards your ears, you're going to feel this nice opener happen in the back of the hip, on the insides of the thighs. You can get to the back of the leg one more time by going one leg out or both legs out, rock side to side, whatever feels good. When you're ready, inhale the knees to center, exhale the legs out straight. We'll take Shavasana. Now, if you want to take a breath or two here and then begin to wrap up, you're more than welcome to. Remember, there's no offense taken. We want you to finish practice as comfortable as you can. Now, I'm going to talk everyone through laying flat, but you're more than welcome to do a variation. For the hip flexors, one of the things we worked today, it would be taking the blanket or the blocks behind your knees. That is going to bring a little crease to the hip. Heart bench would be for the chest or the back bend part of the practice, whatever feels good to you, okay? But I'll talk everyone through laying flat, but find where your space is going to be. And as we lay back, we let the legs stretch out and the feet gently roll open. Let the arms come along the sides. As your shoulders settle back, let the open palm turn to the sky. We say that open palm draws in the energy. Let your head rest back. Maybe let your eyes close. Let the tongue soften from the roof of the mouth. Feel the body getting heavy. Let the mind soften. It turns back to the breath. Each exhale is going to clear and remove and make space. So the inhale can draw in something new, the change. The heart opens. It's collecting the practice. It prepares to move the practice from the mat into the yoga of life. Just as the heart will bring us back to the mat to practice again. Continue to let the body melt down. The skin to the muscles, and the muscles to the bones to the yoga mat to the earth. Exhale those reds and those oranges from behind the eyelids. Inhale those cooler colors, the blues and the greens. Feel the breath washing over you. From the mat, we're going to move into the practice of life, where there will be many challenges, where the edges will continue to be moved. But we go through the practice of life just like we do the practice of yoga. We take a breath, we set our foundation, we engage, and we express the best that we have in that moment. We know that we can take another breath. We can reset, and we can try again. Because with each breath will be another opportunity. Begin here to draw in a deeper breath. Feel the breath washing over the body from your toes to your fingers, to the crown of your head, through your heart, as you reawaken that better version of yourself. Crisper, clearer, more in tune. Bless you. Let the fingers and the toes begin to wiggle. Maybe let the arms and the legs begin to stretch. Move in a way that feels good to you. Taking your time, moving slowly, consciously. When you're ready, you can gently hug your knees to your chest and just roll to the right side. Take your hands underneath your head, make a little pillow. Just take a couple breaths here. And when you're ready, you can push your hands down as you come up to a seated position. We'll meet together with our eyes closed, with our hands in front of our hearts. Anjali Mudra, that gesture that draws our hearts out before us. And one more time to seal in our practice, our time together with our Kula, our yoga family. Together, the sound of Om. All together, deep breath in. Beautiful. As we softly bow our head to our hearts, our heads to each other's hearts. For all of that hard work and that determination, that challenge, the love and the support you always give each other, it's to you that I bow. Namaste. Crew, beautiful practice as always. Good to see everybody. Thank you, Trina. Thank you for the sound bath. Any questions on that? Before you leave, grab us. Anything in your body, grab us before you go. Maybe I'll see some of y'all next week. If not, I'll see you soon. Thanks, crew. Thank you. Thanks, home crew. Good to see everybody. Elizabeth, awesome. That's cool.